Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you guys about loading the magazine into your Lynx 12. It loads like a standard AK47 magazine, which means that it has to rock in. So basically that little lip there, right, has to catch in there, right, and then basically you gotta lever it in. But the thing that sometimes people don't quite understand that are new to this is that in order for the magazine to go in, the shells have to push down, right? Because basically this is pushing up against the bolt. Now sometimes when they make these magazines, they don't always cut the springs correctly. So if they cut your spring a little bit long, all right, and there's no compression, you're not able to do this, you're not going to be able to rock it in, because the shell has to drop a little bit in order for it to get into the gun. Right now there is a technique that can be used if your shells don't have enough downward movement. It's called the Iraqi Loader. Basically you hold your bolt open, right? So holding your bolt open, you then put your magazine in. It's a little awkward. Where are you? Obviously it's not something that but you can see how much, once you find it, it'll go in a lot easier, because now you're not pressing that shell down. That shell doesn't have to move. I find it awkward. Tell you the truth, if I have a magazine that doesn't have any downward movement, I'll just download it, right? So if it's a 10-round magazine, I'll just put 9 rounds in there. Now this is the case with all guns. So for example, even with a pistol or an AR15, right? If you have a full magazine, and if the slide is closed, it usually takes more effort to push it in. That's why with AR-15s and most pistols, the loading procedure is we lock the gun open. Once the gun is locked open, the magazine goes in real easy. Okay, so that's AR-15s, most pistols, and most guns out there that have this lock open feature. That's the reason why we lock it in. Now, the AK47, so basically there's two methods of getting it in. Either the gun's gonna lock open, right, like this, or there's gonna be some type of a leveraging mechanism, and that's what that's the AK47 design. The AK47 design, because it catches up here in the front, you have that extra leverage to leverage the gun in, and I guess that's the reason why the Russians never bothered with a some type of a lock open mechanism. You got to catch it. Oops. So this is one of the difficulties with the AK-47 system, that you got to catch it at the right angle. And I've had people, I've spoken to that were in the Russian army, right? And this is probably like their biggest complaint about the AK-47, the fact that under stress, when they're in a rush, people in the Russian army have told me that that they've had problems getting the magazines into the gun, and they weren't doing it fast enough, and getting yelled at and kicked and all that other stuff. Now, granted, there's gonna be people out there that practice this 100 times a day, that are experts at it, that can do it. That's fine. You're always gonna have that higher percentage of people that are just more talented, practice more, are better at it. But on average, the average person is going to have more difficulty with putting a magazine into an AK versus an AR or a or a pistol. So but that's the thing to understand. That's the thing I wanted to bring out in this video. In order for this magazine to go in, the shells have to compress. If they cut the spring too long, and you don't have any compression, basically you're gonna have a real hard time getting it in there. Now, a lot of times they cut the springs a little too short, and you're like, oh wow, I can get like an extra round there. I can get 11 rounds in there. But still, if you don't have that compression, you might be able to fit 11 rounds in there, but if you don't have that compression, you're gonna have a hard time getting the magazine into the gun. So something I wanted to share with you guys, something that's come up a couple of times, both with people I train in person, and also some conversation I've had, in YouTube and a couple of the Facebook groups. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe, hit that bell button. I'll see you guys next time.